Today we are going to be discussing which deleted scenes I think should have stayed in the final cuts of the Star Wars saga films. Of course, you may disagree with me on what I pick, but either way it's fun to take a look at these scenes regardless. Also, if you are new here, please make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to help this channel continue to grow. So with that out of the way, let's begin starting with the Phantom Menace. In this scene, after Anakin says his goodbyes to Jira, we can see that sneaky DRK-1 probe droid, or Dark One, meandering around following both Anakin and Qui-Gon. And I like how Qui-Gon is very nonchalant about knowing that the droid is around, until he slices the probe in half, realizing it's of a dark nature and nothing like he's ever seen before. Farewell to Jira always struck me as important because it sets up the first confrontation between Maul and Qui-Gon, while also harkening back to The Empire Strikes Back, in which the destruction of a probe droid is followed by immediate danger. This scene helps make sense of why Anakin and Qui-Gon are randomly running back to their Nubian cruiser. And I know that Maul sent out 3 probe droids, but we still need that initial reaction to the fact that Qui-Gon knows he's being tracked. Next, Attack of the Clones. I always thought that this scene was a pretty awesome display of Star Wars tech. It introduces us to the SP4 analysis droids, which looked amazing, as well as another area of the Jedi Temple, the analysis room. Of course, I know these exist in the novels and the comics, but for me, it's a great scene that would have not only given us some amazing droids, but it allows for us to get more curious about Jango Fett and his origins. The SP4 droids tell Obi-Wan that the toxic dart does not exist in any known culture, probably made by some warrior, and I think this could have added a bit more mystery to the first act of the film regarding the dart, and this leads Obi-Wan to the realization of who he must consult regarding the toxic dart.
Hello, Dex.
Plus, Dex even references the droids from this deleted scene, so for me, I wish this had stayed in, perhaps with a better take of the last line that Obi-Wan delivers. So, skipping Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, we move right into The Empire Strikes Back. So this deleted scene, which was never finished, had to do with the Battle of Hoth. It was the death of General Veers and his AT-AT Walker. I like that it's a scene that shows how far the rebels are willing to go to take out the Empire. And it's interesting to see the cool, calm, collected General Veers thinking that they're about to hone in on the rebel base, and then bam, he's taken out by an X-Wing pilot. The entire head of the Walker explodes along with everybody else inside. It's pretty brutal if you think about it, and it brings a bit of that ship as a projectile weapons idea into the Star Wars story. Next, Return of the Jedi. So this deleted scene is called Jar Jared's Conflict, and what happens is Moff Jar Jared is ordered to blow up the moon of Endor by the Emperor himself, and he expresses that they have several battalions down on the planet, but nevertheless the Emperor doesn't care and again orders him to destroy it, and he follows orders. However, this leads Jar Jared into a critical hesitation that gives the rebellion enough time to destroy the second Death Star.
Moon target in range. Sir, moon target in range now.
Commence firing.
I absolutely love this mini side story during the final battle. Perhaps it would have been a little too cutty between Luke, the space battle, Jar Jared, and the ground battle, but this scene gives us something that has been missing in the original trilogy, and that's doubt from the leaders of the Empire. I like that kind of thing, and we see this with Finn in The Force Awakens, but it would have been great to see this internal conflict of Imperial officers, who are ordered to destroy their own men at the whims of other men with power. And ultimately, out of fear, Jar Jared does give the order, but it's too late. Next up, The Force Awakens. I only have one scene from this movie I think that should have stayed in the final cut, and that would be Kylo boarding the Millennium Falcon. The idea that Kylo Ren knows that his father is on Starkiller Base by virtue of infiltrating the Falcon is amazing. When he goes into the cockpit, lowers his head, and speaks his father's name, it's as if all those memories he once had with his parents that might have been good, they all hit him at once. I think this works way better than the scene that's actually in the film where Kylo Ren just senses his father. To me, it was a cheap pickup shot with no weight. This deleted scene has significance to the character and shows off more of that internal conflict Kylo Ren has regarding his past. Okay guys, we're going in. So I have 3 for this film, and I think the most important one would be Luke's third lesson. It gave us a real emotional exchange between Luke and Rey, which helps make sense of Rey's disillusionment with who she thought was a hero. Luke lies to Rey that the village was about to be raided, but he believes he is teaching her a lesson about maintaining balance no matter what cost, even if people get hurt. And Rey says fuck that. However, it turns out to be a celebration, and Chewbacca and R2 are there, along with the rest of the local natives partying. Rey, just like the audience, has this particular vision of who Luke ought to be, and we are all disappointed when that person isn't who we thought they were. And since I've always thought of Rey as the surrogate for the fans, she is us, it was a great scene on a meta level. Rey used to believe in Luke Skywalker, and now he's nothing but a liar to her. Plus, this enhances her rage about learning that Luke almost struck down Kylo Ren. She realizes that she's now been lied to twice. And this next scene is a quick one, but I'd say an obvious one. I wanted Luke's emotional reaction to Han Solo's death. It was very well acted, and I felt that sense of shame that Luke was feeling, having turned his back on the galaxy. Something like this would have gone a long way for some fans who are lukewarm, no pun intended, on this character portrayal. And finally, I think we actually needed the Finn scene with BB-8 in the beginning, where BB-8 shows Finn Rey's final goodbye before heading off to Ahch-To. Finn's already worried about finding his friend before the First Order destroys them all, so this one scene gives us an emotional beat to why Finn tries to board the escape pod. We can all surmise already why he wants to escape, but seeing Finn react to Rey's final gesture on Dakar was an important motivating factor. It should have stayed in. Next, the Rise of Skywalker. Okay, so there are no real deleted scenes available for this film right now, and potentially for all time. And if that's the case, that's a bummer. But I do have one full sequence that absolutely should have stayed in this movie, and that would be the full Mustafar sequence, which was revealed to have actually existed at one point in the edit of The Rise of Skywalker, but it was cut because of runtime concerns and other concerns. Now, the biggest reason I think this should have stayed in has to do with it kicking off the movie in a way that has significance to the main villain, as well as not merely being a fever dream of a scene. It introduces us to Allegiant General Pryde and Hux, while also showcasing their varying views on Kylo Ren. Pryde seems to appreciate Kylo Ren for this warrior that he is, saying he is beautiful to watch in battle, which disgusts Hux, who believes that this quest that Kylo Ren is on is a fool's errand. This scene also gives us a subtle hint of Kylo Ren and Rey's Force bond, because Kylo senses her during the battle on Mustafar. And part of this deleted scene can be seen during Rey's Force vision during her training. And the big thing with this is Kylo's exchange with the creature called the Webbish Bog, who is tasked with protecting Lord Vader's Wayfinder. It's creepy and also very revealing of Kylo Ren's fate in the film. The creature tells him that the path he is on will lead him to his true self, which I found intriguing, and it's a great way to kick off his journey in the movie. Plus, the way the Webbish Bog refers to Palpatine as just him, it's ominous as hell. It reeks of that 80s high fantasy style, and honestly, the entire scene looks like it was mildly horrifying, like the first time you ever saw Morla as a child in the Neverending Story. And lastly, I like that rather than Kylo only wading through dead bodies to some pillar containing the Wayfinder, the deleted sequence gives the defeat of the local natives more significance, since it was more or less a trial of who was worthy of Vader's Wayfinder. Of course it ends up being the grandson of Vader, and it helps to tie into Kylo's obsession with becoming his grandfather, growing beyond that legacy, becoming something more. So that does it for the scenes that I wish would have stayed in the theatrical cuts of the Star Wars saga. While I do like a lot of the other deleted scenes in the Star Wars films, I completely understand why they were eliminated from Picture Lock. But I stand by my choices here. Every scene I listed would have improved my experiences of these movies. So let me know about what deleted scenes you would want back in the theatrical cuts down below. May the Force be with you, and AT-AT is signing off.